What's good, my fellow soloists? The Soloist here, bringing you another video. Today's video is about setting up your ELGATO Game Capture HD or whichever ELGATO that you have with your PS4, with your Xbox, and how to have it seen, how to have it recorded using OBS. Okay, so a lot of people have been asking me that, and a lot of people have been asking how I do my setup here. For instance, you see the subscribe and like because I'm not famous, and guys, don't forget to subscribe and like because I'm not famous. And you know, my graphics in the back, and you know, people want to know how to do that, but they also want to know how to set up the ELGATO Game Capture. So I thought my next tutorial video is going to be this, and then my following one is showing people how I set up my stream the way I set up my stream. So I think that is going to be the timeline the next week and a half or so. So yeah, as far as the ELGATO Game Capture is concerned, again, if you're not familiar with how we do tutorials, I like to explain things very comprehensively. And by that I mean I take my time and make sure you guys understand whatever the hell I'm saying. I take my time and okay, this is what I'm saying, this is what I mean, and you guys get it. So not only do you know how to do it, you know why it works the way it works. That way if there's any problem, you can kind of use your logic, use your brain to figure it out. So with that said, let's just jump into it. Setting up your ELGATO Game Capture HD with your game console and have it in OBS. So there's three ways, or there's three sections to this. There's the PS4 setup, there's the ELGATO setup, and then there's your PC, your Mac OBS setup, right? Your software setup. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go over to, I have a PS4, so that's what we're gonna use. We're gonna switch over to your PS4. So what I want you guys to do is go and turn on your PS4. Now, what I have here, you're gonna go to settings, not trophies like I just did, but settings, okay? And you're gonna go all the way down, go up one till you get to systems, and you're gonna notice here, it has enable HDCP. So at this point in time, I forgot to mention actually, for this point in time, take out all the cords from everywhere. All the cords that you're using, take them out. You know, if you try to work it and put cords in certain places, just take them out. We'll go through everything, all right? So don't worry about that, okay? So back to the game. There's enable HDCP. If you turn off this setting, some applications cannot be used. The reason why the setting is here, the reason why it's there in the first place is because the ELGATO and things like it that are capture cards, that are game captures, copy or capture the image that is sent from whatever you're inputting into the capture card. And so for instance, Netflix, Hulu, streaming services like this wouldn't want their prize shows and things like that so easily copied and you know, being able to distribute and things like that. It's just not a good system, not a good thing for them. That's why they have this feature here, so that if you are using a capture card, you can't use, again, things like Netflix, and you can't use Hulu, Crunchyroll, services like that. So if you want, it's good that I explain this, because if you do watch Netflix, you do have a Netflix account, you're going to need to turn this on in order to actually do that, right? So that's a good thing to know. So what you want to do, you want to disable this, okay? You know you disabled it when you see the check mark not there. That is the first thing that you need to do. If you don't do this, nothing else will work. It won't allow you to do anything else, even if you set it up completely right with everything else. So I thought this should be our first step. Great to have that out of the way, okay? So right now I still have my setup. Complete because I needed to show you guys that setting right there. That you have to take that off first with your PS4. So what I'm going to do next is take it off, take it off, take it off. This is where we are at. This is where we're at right now, and this is what we need to take care of. Okay, so you're going to notice the ELGATO Game Capture. I don't know if I mentioned it, but if you have the Pro or the more recent version, it is the exact same process. Not to worry. what you're gonna notice is you have an HDMI input and an AV input here, but we don't need to worry about that. HDMI input on one side and you have an HDMI output on the other side. So right now all we're gonna do is concern ourselves with the input, right? The input, we want whatever we're playing, whatever we're watching or we're gaming in this instance, we want that to be sent to the input side, okay? That's what we want. So our PS4, that is where the game and everything is being created. We want that creation, that game, to be sent to the input side of the Elgato. So what I'm gonna do is grab my PS4, plug in your HDMI in the back of the PS4, plug in your HDMI in the back of your Xbox, take that same cord that was plugged into the back and plug it into the input side. And if you want to make sure you're on the right side, it has the AV on the side, it has a circle, right? Take the cord from the PS4 and plug it into the input side of it. So at this point, all of the images that are coming from the PS4 will be in your Elgato at this point. Now you have nothing attached to your TV, so you have no way of actually seeing the game. And so this is where the output part of it comes in. So we want that same image that is being sent from the PS4 up and into the Elgato game capture. We want that image to be sent to your TV so you can actually see what the hell you're doing. Alright? So this cord here, the other side is attached to the TV, and this side is going to be attached to the HDMI output of the Elgato. So what this does is you have your PS4, the game gets sent here, the game gets sent to the other side of this cord, which goes to your TV, so you're able to play. Now what's missing from this setup is there's nothing attached to your computer. There's no way for the image, the way it's set up right now, to be sent to your computer, and that is where we have to deal with the USB. That's where the USB cord comes in. So one of the major things people get confused on, they try to put the HDMI of one of these cords into the computer. That's not how it works. It won't work that way. Okay, guys and girls? It won't work that way. It is a USB cord that is going to be what is attaching the Elgato to the computer. So this is what the cord looks like. I believe it's a micro USB 2. Don't hold me to that, I'm not quite sure. But if you have an Elgato, I'm sure you can just look at it and you see exactly what I'm talking about. You should have one of these cords with you. And if not, you can get it at the Dollarama or Walmart or Amazon, but you shouldn't spend anywhere more than $15 to $20. If you're spending anything more than that, you're getting ripped off, plain and simple. I'm Canadian, and it doesn't cost me any more than $15 to $20. You can even get it for less, and if you're from the States, you can for sure get it less than that. So what you want to do is take that cord, I bought mine from Amazon, just for the record, and plug it into your Elgato game capture and have that cord plug into your computer. So there's the setup. Okay guys, you have all three cords all set up, it's all there for you, not much else. Okay, so at this point in time, we have completed 2 out of the 3 things that we needed to do. We have the PS4 completed, and we have the hardware, the Elgato game capture, set up the way it needs to be set up. Cool. So the next part of it is getting the software. You're going to need the OBS software. So what we're going to do is go. I'm actually going to switch desktops here so you guys can see. Pull that over. So what you want to do, I'm on the Elgato website, is go to Google, type in OBS, and you want to go to the download portion here, the download section here. And you're going to three settings. You're going to see Linux, you're going to see Apple, and you're going to see Windows. I'm using Windows. I assume a lot of you guys might be using Windows or Mac. Just choose to select your operating system and click download installer or download zip. I personally use zip. but whatever works for you guys. And at this point, it's a very simple process. I'm sure you guys have downloaded many things before, and yeah, you just walk through it. You click OK, install, and you go through the process. I'm not gonna walk through that because I already have OBS installed. Plus, I have all my scenes and everything else associated with it. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that. I'm sure you guys can do that on your own. But if you guys need me to make a video on how to install it, I can go ahead and do that for you guys, no problem. Just let me know in the comments below. But for now, I'm going to trust that you guys can do that. And we're going to bring it back to OBS. Okay? So right now you guys are seeing my OBS setup, the one that I have. Again, I will be showing how I set up my stream and do it the way I do in a later video. But right now, the only thing that we need to concern ourselves with, and hopefully you guys can see it, is this bottom portion right here. And if you guys just installed OBS, you won't have anything in your scenes, and you won't have anything in your sources. Now, the way scenes and sources work, just to give you a simple idea, think of it as a portrait or like a picture in a gallery. Each scene is a portrait, right? And in each portrait you can add different elements. You can draw a tree, you can, have different elements, and those elements are things like video capture, audio capture, images, things like that. So this is where we are now. So what we want to do is create a scene. We want to create a new scene by clicking on the plus button in the bottom left hand corner. And we're going to just call it game capture, PS4 capture. I'm going to go PS4, game capture. Okay. Okay, guys. So we're back. I had a technical difficulty on a part of there, on a little part there. So we're back. So anyways, where we are now is showing you guys how to, we just opened a scene. We just created a new scene, called it PS4 game capture. And now we want to add, basically we want to add the PS4, what's coming from the PS4 into our stream. So what I have here is my setup, and you guys will only have a blank screen. Yours will be completely blank, like black. So just imagine my black space here is what your screen would actually have. So what we want to do, we want to go down here, and I'll show you. You want to go down here and create a new source, okay? And we're going to add that source. You guys are going to do this in the one scene that you have. I just came to this scene to show you guys my desktop as well, to show you guys what I'm doing. But we'll add it back to the game portion here afterwards. So we'll get to that. Don't worry. So what you're going to do, you're going to add a video capture device, because that is what an Elgato is. It's capturing the video from the PS4. It's a device, video capture device. Makes sense, right? So the video capture device, we're going to rename it to PS4. It's a good habit to start renaming your sources and also your scenes, because once you become a professional at this, or you just start using it a bit more, you don't want to be confusing when you have multiple, different video capture devices, or you have multiple audio inputs and things like that. Always good to name it. Good habit. So we're going to add a PS4. We're going to call it PS4. It's a video capture device. And you're going to see a list of devices you have here. Right now, mine defaults to Logitech webcam, which is the webcam I'm using. But there's other options, and you should see an Elgato option there. Elgato Game Capture HD is one of my options. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click OK. Cool. So what should happen is that you'll see it appear, and right now it appears over everything else, but for you guys, you'll only have one thing in your scene. But there you guys have it. So that is how to set up your PS4 with Elgato Game Capture HD and use it in OBS. So hopefully that answers most of you guys' questions, and I did a fairly good job on it, and I didn't skip over too much. So if it works for you guys, great. You guys move on, enjoy your life, start streaming. Let me know what your channel is in the comments below. I'll definitely go check out your channel, your live streams. I love to do that. Kudos to you. But I want to take another minute and a half or 2 minutes here to help people troubleshoot. In my last video, a lot of people loved the fact that I took my time, but there were still questions. So I'm going to go ahead and take 2 minutes or so to try to think of some of the problems that might arise if you were to go through this process, in case I didn't explain it to my best. So if this helped you guys, go ahead and like. It means a lot. Again, us small YouTubers, we ain't making nothing from YouTube, so a like goes a long way for us. So go ahead and do that, and don't forget to subscribe as well. Appreciate all you guys. I'll see you guys later. But for some of you that are still having problems, time to troubleshoot. Okay, so the first thing a problem that a lot of people have, that I myself had when I was setting this up, is that you try to use the Elgato first before changing the PS4 settings. Okay, it just doesn't work that way, guys. I'm just changing over here, but I'm trying to get back to it. It just doesn't work. If you don't change this setting, you'll have your PS4 constantly trying to connect to the Elgato, and you'll see your TV like flicker on and off, or OBS will say it's trying to set it up and stop, and then say it's trying to set it up again. The reason being is because it's working for a second. It works for a second, but then because of the settings that we showed you, the enable HDCP, remember, I'll go back to it so you guys see it. The enable HDCP button here, if this isn't enabled, it will continue to do that. So make sure the first thing you do before you try connecting your Elgato is just regular connect your PS4 to your TV and take care of that setting. That's the first thing. One of the other problems that some of the people have, that I have talked to people about, that I had to deal with, they have this problem where the drivers aren't installed. They don't see the Elgato Game Capture as one of the video capture devices in OBS. So one solution, or a couple of the solutions I looked at, is that people actually go to elgato.com and download the drivers. So I just Google Elgato Game Capture drivers, right? Elgato Game Hardware drivers. And you'll see here, and just use the one that works for you. If it's the HD60 Pro, HD60 drivers, I got the HD, right? The Elgato Game Capture HD. That's the one I'm using. So I download the drivers, and you can see in my bottom left corner there, it might be a little tough, but those are the drivers there. And with that installed, you shouldn't have a problem. I would go ahead and reset OBS. I would close OBS after installing those drivers and checking back, doing the process, video capture device, checking there, click on Elgato Game Capture, and I believe it should work that way. So those are the two biggest things that I know some people might not, might have problems with, and those are the ways that I've seen other people and myself have solved those problems. And yeah, I'm just trying to think. So for the PS4, that's the only thing. For the Elgato Game Capture, some people mix up the HDMI input and output, so just make sure that you have it right, that the PS4, the input of the PS4, or what's attached to the PS4, is being sent to the input of the Elgato Game Capture. That's a better way to say it. And what is HDMI out coming from the Elgato is going to your TV. Make sure that those two cords, are correct, because if it isn't, again, it won't work any other way. So that's definitely something you want to look out for. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I know some people had faulty cords, HDMI cords. So if your cord, you have to move it around, you're better off, I'm telling you, just going out and buying a new HDMI cord. Because the last thing you want is when you're live streaming or you're recording a video and this moves a little bit and your whole thing is just not working and your stream just freezes or something like that. Make sure that your cards are good, that even when you hit it, there's no problem with it. But outside of that, guys, those are really the only things I can come up with. Definitely, if you have any problems, leave those in the comments below. I have no problem answering them. Go ahead and do that. Your boy, the Soloist, back with you guys. Another tutorial try my best on it. Again, I love your feedback. Give me feedback. I'll improve every single video. That's what I'm going for. But yeah, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Soloist. I'll see you guys in a later video. Peace.